Hey everybody, it's Derek and welcome back to CRM Tip of the Day's Video Tips, your source for tips and step-by-step instruction on the latest version of Microsoft Dynamics CRM. So in today's video, we're going to continue our CRM 2016 series, and we're going to talk about a new feature that was introduced called Interactive Service Hub. Now, Interactive Service Hub is, in essence, basically it's kind of a new browser or a new application browser that you can use to work with Dynamics CRM information. So it's actually going to have a completely independent URL from the current CRM application that you're using. So it'll open up in a different browser window, and it will be displayed a little bit differently than what you're currently used to seeing. Now, the big difference between it is it's actually built off of the mobile platform framework, so it uses the same technology as the mobile devices, so phone and tablet. So if you do make any changes to the customizations to the items, the customizations will actually prompt you when you load the version of the application to upload the latest information. So once it's loaded, it actually runs considerably faster. Now, as part of the Interactive Service Hub, it is very service heavy at this point, but what they've also done is they've also introduced some of the new knowledge base article functionality with kind of the full WYSIWYG editor and some of the new scheduling and publishing capabilities that they have. And we'll talk a little bit about some of that information in a future video. But the new Interactive Service Hub is kind of a new direction that they're kind of taking CRM and gives you some different types of interactive dashboards and some different information that you can use as you're moving forward. So let's go ahead and take a look at what the Interactive Service Hub looks like. Now, as I mentioned, it's a completely different browser address. So it's a completely different URL than what you're used to seeing. And right now, with the way the application is structured, there isn't necessarily a specific area that says Interactive Service Hub, and you click on the link in the navigation and it takes you right there. You do actually have to remember kind of the address that you're working with. Now, when you first launch the browser, Experience for 2016, you will see kind of a little notification bar as you see here that says, there's new functionality. Do you want to work with it? And you can go ahead and click on that, and that'll take you to the Interactive Service Hub as well. Or if you go into like settings and you go into knowledge articles, because they're also tied to the knowledge articles, you can also access it here as well. So it'll tell you that we have new knowledge base functionality and give you the capabilities to access it. So one of the first things I would do is once you load in the Interactive Service Hub, I would definitely come up here and just, pop in and update your address information and just mark this somewhere and keep this so you can get to it very quickly as you're working forward. Now, the first couple of times you go in here, I've already had it loaded in a browser. The first couple of times you go in here, it does take a little bit of time because it's just like we talked about with the mobile, tablets and phone clients. It is downloading the updated metadata information. So it does take a little bit of time to load this information the first time that you're coming into it. And so in essence, what you're seeing now is kind of a new version or a different way of presenting the CRM information. Now, out of the box, you'll notice that it does focus pretty heavily on service. So there's just a few entities that kind of come enabled for Interactive Service Hub. You've got your cases, your accounts, your contacts, your social profiles. You've got activities, pretty much most activities with the exception of things like letters and faxes and reoccurring appointments. Some of those items aren't necessarily available for you to use within the Interactive Service Hub scenario. But you also have knowledge articles that you can work with, as well as custom entities. And so one of the things that you'll notice, and we'll do a little bit more with customization in a future video, but one of the things you'll notice when you go into the customization area now is there's actually an option for enabling for interactive experience, which is basically, do you want to enable it for this Interactive Service Hub? And with this now, they've actually introduced some different dashboard types as well. And so these dashboard types are called interactive dashboards that have more multi-stream capabilities and just different interaction points. So when you go in and create dashboards now, you'll actually have two different options when you're doing it at a system level. You can create kind of your traditional dashboard that we've done with from a CRM perspective, or you can go in and do more of your Interactive Service Hub scenario. And so one of the key things, and we won't necessarily get into it in this video, but one of the key differences to remember here is if you look at knowledge articles here, this is the new knowledge article functionality that they have introduced. So it's independent from the standard articles that you would go in and navigate with from an application standpoint. So if you have customers or if you yourself are using the knowledge-based functionality as it exists now, this would be kind of a new alternative. And we can talk a little bit more about how that looks and how you would access some of that information in kind of future videos. But for right now, what you can see is there's just different options here. So I can go in and I can click on, for example, cases, and this is going to open up pretty much the same similar types of views that I would see within the normal application version of CRM. So same type of concept. Now the forms are going to look a little bit different because they're going to look very mobile specific or very much like some of the mobile functionality that we would see. So each entity now will have different versions of the forms as you can see. Now we still have the business process flows that are associated with them. We still have some of our timeline capabilities from an activity standpoint. We still have all of our individual kind of tab and baseline information depending upon how the item has been customized. So when I click on details here, I can see some of the detail-based information. When I look at relationships, I can see the merge cases, the associated options. I still have the capabilities to resolve the case, cancel the case, work with most of the same type of functionality that I had worked with typically. I'm just working with it in a little different scenario. Now, one of the other things you'll notice is when you're working with Interactive Service Hub, the information, because it's built on the mobile platform, it does load quite a bit quicker once you're in the initial scenario. It does make it quite a bit easier to kind of work through some items. You'll also notice in the customizations area now that there are specific entity-based dashboards that you can use to customize for that particular entity. So if I come down here on kind of the lower left-hand corner and I click on this, this is going to open up my case dashboard. This is a new case-specific dashboard that I can use that'll have different views, different chart options that are specific to this option. And I can work with, different types of, opening up different types of charts. I can customize different types of charts. I can even organize this down into different tile views that kind of organize how I want to work things. So now I can click on different things. It shows me the different items. I can scroll down, find a specific case that I want to look at, click on the case. It opens the case up in the application. I have the same navigation capabilities where I can skip from one case to another case as I want to based upon the view that I have selected. And then I can also click back into the other area that I want to work with. If I ever want to switch this back to a different type of view, I can switch this back and kind of pick the different view option that I want to from here. If I come back into service and I click on dashboards, these are these different kind of multi-stream dashboard capabilities that you have. And so one of the things you'll see up here is if you were working with this in a service environment is I would want to maybe be able to see this based upon different time frames or different types of situations. And so this is kind of a customizable filtering option that I have. So I have the capabilities to come up here and say, okay, I want to see this week, last week. Maybe in this case, since I'm working with the sample data, I'll choose a custom time frame. I'll go back a little bit here. Maybe we'll go to 2013. I'll apply it. And now it brings up my cases. And so it shows me all the individual case items that I'm working with, draft emails, individual tasks, queues, all of that information. And then as I'm working through these individual options, I can actually look at additional information based upon this, how I've customized the view. I have the capabilities to click on the individual item, choose whether or not I want to resolve the case, cancel the case. So I have a lot of the same type of functionality that I would have in the normal browser. It's just being presented different, and it's really more targeted at an analytic type standpoint. And if I come over here, I again have different ways that I can organize this information based upon how I want to work with. And there's different types of dashboards depending upon what it is that you want to work with. They have what are called multi-tier dashboards, and then they have what are called multi-stream dashboards, and then they have what are called kind of single stream dashboards. And basically these give you the capabilities to pull in data from different levels and different options based upon what it is that you're trying to do to really make some more higher interactive charting based capabilities. And so this gives you kind of a nice option to see, what's happening from a case perspective when you're going through. Now you have a lot of customization options that you can work with this. There's customizations are all typically done through the web client, and then you enable that, like I said, at an entity level, and then you can go in and kind of decide how you want to work with it at a form level and in different scenarios. And moving forward, we'll actually show you a little bit on how to customize the interactive web experience and the interactive service hub experience. But I at least here wanted to give you an opportunity to see kind of what it looks like. But again, remember that this is a separate address than what you would see in the web application. So the first time that you go in there, it's either going to pop it up on your screen and tell you to try out Interactive Service Hub, or if you go to in your typical CRM environment, if you go to Service and Articles, when you go into Articles, it'll show you this screen, and if you click on it here, this will bring you right into that Interactive Service Hub experience, and this is where I would definitely bookmark that, and then you can play with it from here. But that's going to load it in. Now remember, the first couple of times you do it, it'll take a little bit of time to load it in there as well. Well, I hope you enjoyed our quick look into Interactive Service Hub. In future videos, in the next video, we'll show you a little bit more around kind of the administration piece. And then we can actually show you a little bit around some of the new knowledge base functionality and stuff as well as we're moving forward. But this, I at least wanted to give you the opportunity to look at it, go in, see how it works. Big thing to remember is it's a new browser built off of the mobile platform, so it is not going to readily be part of your generalized navigation of your current CRM app. You will have to go to a different address and work with it from there. However, from a customization standpoint, as you'll see in a future video, it can be customized from the current version of the web application. So I hope you found it informational and informative. Again, for all of us here at CRM Tip of the Day, this has been Derek. I just want to say thanks again for watching. Take care and have a good one, everybody.